Every life is a story, even the ones we overlook. The quiet mornings, the late night doubts, the little choices that ripple into everything else. This is What If, a Revolution podcast that highlights ordinary lives that make up extraordinary stories. I am Diana, your host, and today we're asking, what if we respected food like we respect technology? Food is one of the most intimate things we do. And here is the irony. We celebrate every new device, every update, every shiny innovation. Yet food, the oldest technology we have ever had, rarely gets the respect it needs and deserves. Before Wi-Fi connected us, food connected civilizations. Before algorithms shaped our behavior, flavors shaped identity. Take something as simple as the potato. Today, it's impossible to imagine Indian cuisine without it. Yet, potatoes were not part of India's story until colonization. They originated in the Andes, the long mountain range that runs like a rocky backbone along the western edge of South America, passing the sacred Inca ruins of Peru, the mirror-bright salt flats of Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni, the highlands of Ecuador stretching towards the distant Galapagos, and the dramatic landscapes of Chile, from the Atacama Desert, the driest place on earth, all the way down to the windswept edges of Patagonia. It is in this environment where mountains sit above the clouds and farmers carved terraces into stone that indigenous people cultivated potatoes thousands of years ago. Then Europeans carried them across oceans, reshaping entire food cultures. Now India eats more potatoes than almost anywhere in the world. That's migration. That's history. That's how food becomes part of who we are. And these stories repeat themselves across continents. Tomatoes came from the Americas, not Italy. They arrived in Europe as curiosity, even feared at first. Can you believe that? But slowly, Italy embraced them. Somewhere between Naples and Sicily, the tomato went from outsider to icon, the heartbeat of Italian cuisine that now feels ancient. Chilies also began in the Americas, not in China, India, Taiwan, or Korea. They traveled on Portuguese ships, carried in barrels across oceans, and were shared in ports from Goa and many other ports in Asia. Chilies came from the Americas, but Asia embraced them so deeply that it is impossible to imagine its cuisine without heat. A foreign ingredient became essential to identity. Cassava began in Brazil and Paraguay, cultivated by indigenous people long before Europeans arrived. But once movement was forced across the Atlantic, cassava traveled with enslaved Africans and became food for survival, cheap, filling, resilient. Over generations, it became Brazil's comfort food. Pão de queijo, tapioca, farofa. Flavors born from both heritage and hardship. Food was the first global network, moving across continents long before technology even knew how to imitate connection. I was born in the United States. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Believe it or not, I was. But I grew up in other countries. And one of the hardest things to assimilate since coming back has been the food. I cannot bring myself to drive through a fast food line or eat anything that doesn't resemble its natural state. It is not pickiness. It is about connection, or the lack of it. Somewhere along the way, America turned food into a transaction instead of a ritual, a task instead of a moment, fuel instead of story. And the consequences are real. About 42% of American adults are classified as obese. and more than 1 in 5 lives with mental illness. Researchers have found deep links between diet, inflammation, mood, and anxiety. And while food isn't the only cause, our relationship with it plays a massive, undeniable role. More than half of US families rarely sit down to eat together anymore. Meals happen in cars, at desks, in front of screens, or between deadlines. The TV dinner, the drive-through culture, the grab something quick mentality has damaged not just how we eat, but how we relate to ourselves and to each other. Contrast this with the rest of the world. In Italy, food is time. The polpette, better known as the meatballs, simmer for hours. Sauces are taste and retaste, and meals stretch into conversations. Eating is community. In Portugal, the Bola de Berlim, which is a donut, is sunshine wrapped in sugar, a memory of childhood summers by the sea, carried forward through generations. In Nigeria, jollof rice is identity, it's pride, it's rivalry, it's celebration in a pot. In Venezuela, an arepa isn't just food, it's survival, heritage, and home. It is how families talk without talking. In Japan, food is respected as part of the life cycle. People don't hide the truth that life feeds life. There is an acknowledgement, gratitude, and a sacred connection to the ingredient, not avoidance. Meanwhile, in the United States, food often gains value only when a celebrity name is attached, when a dish goes viral, when it becomes a brand. We replace meaning with marketing, tradition with trend, identity with influence. And then there is our obsession with sameness. We want the same burger in every city, the same coffee at every airport, the same sandwich everywhere we go. Why? Because sameness is cheaper, easier, predictable. But that predictability comes at the cost of regional identity, local tradition, and cultural depth. And it shows. We will spend over $1,000 on a new phone, a device we will likely replace, but we will bargain for the cheapest possible food to put in the one body we have for life. We protect our phones with cases and insurance, but treat our bodies like afterthoughts. We recharge our devices before they hit 10%, but wait until we are depleted before we feed ourselves properly. Somewhere along the way, we stopped treating our bodies like the temples they are and started treating them like machines, fast, efficient, disposable. But our bodies are not machines. They slow, they tire. They need rituals, not rushing, care, not shortcuts. They respond to presence, to connection, to the environment we eat in. Many leading nutrition experts agree that eating in stress, conflict, or tension can change the way our body metabolizes food, even turning nourishment into discomfort. When we eat in chaos, our body reacts as if the food itself were harmful. It is not the ingredient, it is the environment, which is why around the world meals are sacred. People stop, they sit, they gather, they breathe. Food is not just fuel, it is connection. Maybe the shift begins with something simple. Honoring our bodies and our cultures by giving food the time and respect it deserves. Not more food, not bigger portions, just better food. Food with intention, food with story, food that nurtures. Let's bring back the dinner table. Let's eat with people we actually enjoy. Let's stop eating at our desks. slow down long enough for food to become nourishment, not stress. Let's build a culture that honors eating, not just for its aesthetics, but for its impact in our identity, our health, our relationship, and our humanity. Food is the oldest language we have, the original technology that kept us alive, the thread that stitches cultures together. So next time you sit down to eat, slow down, taste the story, taste the history, taste the humanity, because food tells us who we are, and it also asks, who are we becoming? If this episode resonated with you, share it with others. Until next time, taste the food of your heritage, taste the world, and remember, sit down to savor it.